Hello, dear students. Today we will continue with the second part of Chapter 7 Lifelines of National Economy. Before starting the part 2, let us recall that what we have studied in the first part. In the first part, I gave you the introduction that why certain domains are called lifelines of Indian economy. We also discussed those domains. Those domains are land, water, and air transport. So, we started with land transport, and in that, we started with roadways. First of all, we studied about the features of road transport. After that, we discussed six chief types of roads in India. In that, it was the quadrilateral or the super highways, national highways, state highways, district roads, and border roads. Later, we also classified roads on the basis of metalled and unmetalled. After that, we studied about the road density. Now, today we will consider another important factor, domain of land transport, that is railways. Railways are the principal mode of transportation for freight and passengers in India. Freights means goods and passengers in India. Railways also make it possible to conduct multifarious activities like business, sightseeing, pilgrimage, along with transportation of goods over long distances. The Indian Railways has now completed 150 years of its existence. The first railway was constructed between Mumbai and Thane in the year 1853. It was just a 34-kilometer distance. The distance between Mumbai and Thane is 34 kilometers. Today, the railway route length stands at 66,687 kilometers. It has a fleet of 11,122 locomotives, 70,241 passenger service vehicles, 6,493 other coaches, and 2,54,006 wagons on March 2017. The total number of railway stations during the same period is 8,500. Total stations are 8,500. Each day, 7,525 trains carry 22 million passengers. So, this was the feature of railways. The distribution pattern of the railway network in the country has been largely influenced by physiographic, economic, and administrative factors. Railways have reached the North Indian plains, the hilly terrains of peninsular India, the mountainous region, the deserts, the swamps of Gujarat, the forested tracts of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Jharkhand, the contiguous stress of Sahyadris. Sahyadri, it is a mountain range. There also you can find railways. The Konkan Railways has facilitated the movement of passenger and goods in the hilly terrains also. Now look at the map. Here you can find the different zones. Yes, of course, Gorakhpur is also one of the headquarters of Northeastern Railway. The same how the whole country is divided into 17 railway zones having headquarters, different headquarters, like Northeastern Railway. Northeastern Railway, it is the 7th railway zone and it is in Gorakhpur. The headquarters it is in Gorakhpur. Now after railways, it is pipelines. But before discussing pipelines, let us discuss that what are the challenges being faced by railways. Railways, many of the time we see that people, they travel ticketless. Ticketless travel is a nuisance to fellow passenger and a loss of revenue for railways. Thefts and damage to railway property is another cause of worry. Chain pulling delays the train. Railways are incurring heavy losses due to this menace. So we should take care of, whenever we travel, we should take ticket. Theft and damage to the railway property should be avoided, and unnecessarily chain pulling should also be avoided, as it delays the train and it gives heavy loss due to chain pulling. So we should take care of this. After this, the next important feature is your pipeline. It is a new one. Pipelines are a new means of transport. They have been in use for a long time to supply water to cities and industries. As we know that pipelines, with the help of pipelines, water is supplied in cities and industries. It is also an inexpensive, means it is not expensive, mode of transport for liquid and gas like petroleum and natural gas from oil and natural gas fields to refineries, fertilizer factories and thermal power plants. Even certain solids like iron can be transported through pipes after converting them into slurry material. Drinking water is also transported through pipelines. In addition to the very low transportation cost, pipelines can be laid even in difficult and hilly terrains. Even though energy may be required for building up pressure, yet the consumption of energy is very low. Other advantages are that they can be laid under seawater also. Their supply is assured. It saves times and pollution risk is also very low. So this was all about the pipelines. There are three important network pipeline transportation in our country. From oil field in Upper Assam to Kanpur via Guwahati, Barauni and Allahabad. It has branches from Barauni to Haldia via Rajbagh to Maurigram and Guwahati to Siliguri. From Salaya in Gujarat to Jalandhar in Punjab via Viragam, Mathura, Delhi and Sonipat. It has branches to connect Koyali near Vadodara, it is in Gujarat, Chaksu and other places. This was about oil. Now gas pipeline from Hajira in Gujarat connects Jagdishpur in UP via Vijaypur in Madhya Pradesh it has branches to Kota in Rajasthan. Here you can easily see that the pipelines, one more is there, crude oil and LPG pipelines you can see from Upper Assam. Here you can see from Upper Assam to other parts of the country. And from Gujarat to Delhi, easily we can see on the map. These are the pipelines. The initial cost of laying this pipeline is high, but with the regular use of it, the cost of transportation is very minimum, and it is the cheapest mode of transport, which not only saves time but also lowers the risk of pollution, and supply is also assured. Now the next important one is your waterways. Since the time immemorial, India was one of the seafaring countries. Its seamen sailed far and near, thus carrying and spreading Indian commerce and culture. Waterways are the cheapest mean of transport, most suitable for carrying heavy and bulky goods. It is fuel efficient and environmental friendly. India has inland navigation waterways of 14,500 km in length. Out of these, only 3,700 km are navigable by mechanized boats. The following waterway have been declared the national waterway. Likewise, in roadways we have national highways. The same how here we have national waterway by the government. The Ganga river between Allahabad and Haldia, that is 1620 km, it is national waterway number 1. The Brahmaputra river between Sadia and Dhubri, that is 891 km in length, is national waterway number 2. The West Coast Canal in Kerala, Kottapurma, Kumman, Udgaya Mandal and Champakara Canal, that is 205 km, is national waterway number 3. The other viable inland waterway include the Godavari, Krishna, Barak, Sundarbans, Buckingham Canal, Brahmani East-West Canal and Damodar Valley Corporation Canal. Here you can easily see some important waterways, inland waterway channels. Here you can see clearly that from Haldia to Allahabad, what is the route of the national waterway from Haldia to Allahabad. It from Haldia to Farakka, you can see here, from Haldia to Farakka, it is 560 km, and from Farakka to Patna it is 460 km, and from Patna to Allahabad it is 600 km. So the total length of this waterway is 1620 kilometers. After that, you can also see the national waterway number 2 from Sadia here to Dhubri. You can easily see it is from 891 kilometers. This length is 891 kilometers, the national waterway number 2. Now there are some major seaports also. In India we have 12 major ports and 181 medium and minor ports. Some major ports are Kandla, Mumbai, Visakhapatnam, Paradip, Kolkata, etc. Mumbai is the biggest port. Here on the map you can see some of the major ports: Kolkata, Haldia, Paradeep, Vishakhapatnam, Ennore, Chennai, Tuticorin, Cochin, Mangalore, Marmagua, Hawa Seva, that is JNPT, Jawaharlal Nehru Port, Mumbai, Vadinar and Kandla. Now this is the proposed national highway, the national waterway number 5. This is the proposed one. It stretches from East Coast Canal. You can see here. It is in Odisha. Look, from West Bengal to Odisha. Here you can see it is Talcher. Talcher, it is in Odisha only, to Paradeep port till here. You can find the proposed. And what is the total length? The total length is 623 kilometers and its development cost is 1526 crore. You do not need to learn this, that what is the cost, what is the kilometer. This is just for your information. Now let us talk about airways. Airways. The air transport was nationalized in 1953. Airways are of two types: domestic and international. Domestic. On the operational side, Indian Airlines, Alliance Air, subsidiary of Indian Airlines, private scheduled airlines, and scheduled operators provide domestic air service. On the other hand, the international airways is Air India and it provides international air service. Apart from this, helicopter service is also there, like Pawan Hans helicopters. Pawan Hans Helicopters Limited provide helicopter service to ONGC in its offshore operation to the inaccessible areas and difficult terrains of northeastern states and parts of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Here helicopter service is provided by Pawan Hans. Now there are some benefits of airways also. Air travel is the fastest, most comfortable and prestigious mode of transport. It can cover very difficult terrains like high mountains, dreary deserts, dense forests, and also along oceanic stretches with great ease. Northeastern parts of the country have big rivers, dissected relief, dense forest, frequent flood is also there, and international borders are also there. Here, air travel has made access easier to this part of the country. Not only this, remote areas like hilly mountains, high plateaus, dense forest, desert, and islands which are inaccessible through railways and roads can be easily connected by air service. For northeastern states of India, air services are most important. Large rivers, difficult terrains, dense forest, frequent floods, and international borders restrict the use of means of land transport. And here, air transport plays an important role in time of emergencies like wars, floods, epidemics, and famines. Many of you might have seen that at the time of flood or epidemic also, airdrop is there. Food, water, all these things are airdrop by the means of airways. Now there are some disadvantages also. Why I am saying disadvantages? Because Air travel is not within the reach of the common people. It is an expensive mode of transport. So, this was all about today. Now, let us have a brief discussion that what we have studied today. So, starting from the railways. First of all, we studied that railways are the principal mode of transport for goods and passengers in India. They also make it possible to conduct multifarious activities like business, sightseeing, pilgrimage, along with transportation of goods over long distances. After that, we saw the feature of railways, like how many railway stations are there, what is the number of locomotives, number of passenger service vehicles, number of passenger coaches and other coach vehicles, and number of wagons also. After this, we discussed that where are railways present. It is greatly influenced by physiographic. Physiographic means terrains, desert, mountains, hill, forest, coast, swampy area. Economic, where they earn more, and administrative factors that it can be controlled easily. So these three factors are influenced. Railways influenced by these three factors. Railways have reached to certain hilly terrains also, mountainous region also, deserts also, swamps of Gujarat also, forest of Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Odisha also, and yes, of course, the stretches of Sahyadri also. The Konkan Railway is one of the good example that has facilitated the movement of passenger and goods in hilly terrains. After that, we saw the different railway zone on the map. After that, we discussed about the pipelines, the new arrival, how iron can also be transported from one place to another place by making it slurry. And we also discussed that it not only saves time but also it is pollution free. It is pollution free also. We also discussed that from where these pipelines are taken, from Gujarat to Delhi, from Assam to Jagdishpur in UP. We discussed all these. After that, we looked at waterways. We also considered that since the time immemorial, India was one of the seafaring countries, means it was divided by seas and ocean, but our mariners took this challenge and spreaded our Indian commerce and culture to other parts of the world with the help of waterways. We also saw that how it is environmental friendly. After that, we talked about National Waterway number 1, National Waterway number 2 and National Waterway number 3. After that, we looked at the different national waterways and their actual location. After that, we discussed about National Waterway number 2 from Sadia to Dhubri, that is 891 km. After that, we discussed about major seaports, 12 major and 181 medium and minor ports. We located them on the map also. After that, we discussed about proposed National Waterway number 5, that is from West Bengal to Odisha. After that, we discussed about the features of airways and the helicopter service of Pawan Hans Helicopters Limited. After that, we saw the advantages of airways, and later on we took the disadvantages also of the airways. So students, this was all about today's part. Have a generous day ahead.